Hi Achievers, good evening. How are you all doing today? Good evening Aarti, Harshil, Manoj, Paramveer. So good to see all the names out there. Hey Rosanna, Shireen, Kevin, Bunty, Harsh, Virendra. Bilkul buddy, I'm doing much better. Thank you so much. Hey Yash, Spoon Gaming, Nemi Chand, Ayushman, Vansh. Good evening, all of you. I am doing really well. Thank you, guys. Hey, Nikita, Sashmita. Good evening, Khushi. Chen Singh Shekhawat. Yes. Yes, after so many days, right? That's why I'm super happy today. Finally. Yes. So sweet, Muskan. Yes, Rosanna. Absolutely, I missed all of you. Good evening, good evening. Yes, Ayushman, we'll quickly cover up everything. Don't worry. Super excited. So am I, guys. And we started with the session in April. And we know that this year we've got the board exam. Like this session, we've got the board exam. So thoda bahut tension ho jata hai the moment you realize the fact that it's going to be a board exam. But don't worry. I know your exams are around the corner. Some exam or the other would keep coming. I know that you might be feeling a bit stressed, and that's why we are here. We are here with one short session, and the chapter is Chemical Reactions and Equations. This is chapter number 1. We all know that, right? I hope you've opened the books by now. Yes, Muskan, absolutely fine. Hey, Baswaraj, thank you. Hey, Nitesh, we'll have sessions for grade 9 as well. Don't worry. Yeah, Shirin. For the chapters that you think have not been covered yet, you can definitely go back and watch the old videos. Oh, you feel proud of that. Great. So, are you all set to, get into the exam mode full on? Tell me in the comment section. Because see, today I'll tell you the important questions, the important topics actually, from the exam point of view. So in the board exam, everything from NCERT would be asked, but not directly. They will twist all the questions. So I'll tell you how the questions are being twisted, which are the questions which are, most probable to come. So as in when we discuss the concepts, as in when we discuss the topics, I'll keep pinpointing, I'll keep letting you know all those important tricky questions or, favorite questions. Hey Pihu, a very warm welcome. So guys, these are the topics you just cannot miss. And I'll tell you one thing, a lot of you were asking about rancidity. Ma'am, ये तो out of syllabus है. So when we'll talk about rancidity, I'll tell you why we are discussing rancidity. And why it's very important that you stay with us and understand all the topics. Because whatever we are discussing today, guys, in some set or the other, the questions would be there out of these important concepts. So we've done, half of the work. We've put everything together. Now, the rest half you have to do. You have to be very attentive and make sure that you are very interactive during the session. That's okay, Janvi. धीरे धीरे सब बढ़िया हो जाएगा. Alright, so before I kickstart, you know what to do. You have to quickly give me a thumbs up or a smiley or a green signal to tell me that the session, everything is working fine. Audio, video, PPT, everything. Yes, Kritika. I'll try my best to use both the languages equally so that you're able to understand. Oh, you Kirti. A lot of you have joined us for the first time. That is great. खुशी ने ना थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग इमोजी दे दिया है. Good evening all of you. Double displacement of precipitation, I missed the comment. You can post it again and I'll take it. Perfectly audible, visible. I am doing really well, thank you. Hey Kirti, thank you so much. Hey Randhir. Alright, so since I've got a good to go, we can definitely kickstart with our session. We can begin. Good evening, Roshan. Yes, Virendra, definitely. Virendra keh raha, ma'am, bas ab start karte hain. And by the way, let me know in the comment section how many of you have registered for ANTHE. Because time is running out, clock is ticking, you've got limited time to register, and right now it's for free. It's absolutely for free. The link is there in the description box. You can look at the dates, offline, online dates are being mentioned over here. The ones who are aiming to be doctors, engineers, it goes without saying कि बच्चा बिल्कुल कर दो register. No second thoughts to it. And in case this is not something that you eventually would want to become, nonetheless appear for the exam. When you appear for an entrance exam like these, you in a way gain so much out of it. A lot of things that are going to go with you long way just on the basis of an exam, and registration free hai. Kya jata hai? Yes? You never know, you might win, up to 100% scholarship. Maybe for some other course. Yeah, so definitely it's going to be helpful. Cash rewards would be there. Then of course, all India rank. You'll actually know where you stand exactly. And we're also providing you mock test papers, right? Mock ANTHE test would also be provided, 4 of them. So yes, you'll get a good idea, a decent idea about the pattern as well. Bilkul grade 7 से 12th hai. You people are in grade 10. फटाफट से करता है. Many of you, I know you want to take science next year. Many of you are thinking to take commerce. Many of you would go for humanities. Nonetheless, I know this exam would definitely help you in some way or the other. Yes, so the catch is the trip. Absolutely. Bilkul. Displacement, double displacement, precipitation. Kevin, we'll discuss everything today. Don't worry. Absolutely right. So yes, the link is there. Quickly go register for ANTHE, and we have started with this race to ace the exam. We need to get full marks. We're aiming for full. Full को aim करेंगे तो बहुत अच्छे marks आ जाएंगे, right? But I want to know from you, how many of you feel that exam is like a problem? अरे यार exams आ रहे हैं, tension हो रही है. Hey Bharat. Yes, I'm trying, bacha. Some of you want it in Hindi, some of you want it in English. So what we'll do is, we'll repeat the same sentence in Hindi as well. Kirti loves to give exam. That's great. Yes, definitely. That's okay, Kashifa, not a problem. Hey, Amulya. Hey, Dharan, a very warm welcome, bacha. Kevin wants Hindi, someone wants English. What we'll do is, chemistry to apni chemistry rahegi yaar. Yes, Yash says let's use a mixture of, let it be English. Alright. But see, whatever important is there, I'm going to repeat it in English and in Hindi. So chemistry point of view, so you will not miss anything. Some of you feel it's like a headache. Okay, don't worry, we'll change, we'll turn these exams to your advantage for sure. And that's why we have a mission, and we have a very strategic plan for that mission. We've got all kinds of sessions lined up for all of you, starting from chapter revision that you will get only on Telegram. Then we've got mock test, quiz would be taking place to understand how much you've actually understood the concepts. We'll get exam focused questions, very important part. This is a very important feature of this mission that we have, because see, unless and until we know what kind of questions are being examined, kaun se questions are the teachers ke favorite questions hai, it kind of tells us about the pattern, right? So we will provide you with all those questions, one shot marathons, doubt solving, you name it, and it's there. Everything that you want is going to be there, but kaise milega? Only if you subscribe, right? Only if you hit the like, share and subscribe button. So fatafat se, if you're super excited for today's class, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then we'll get started. Yes. How is that possible, Flower? We want to know that. All right. Definitely. And of course, on popular demand, many of you wanted us to come up come back, I would say, come back with mini learning program. So yes, we are back with it, but this time only for the first 1,000 users every week. So the week has just started, guys. Come on, quickly go avail this offer. Use the code YT first and then be taught by India's top teachers. Have live sessions with them, doubt clearing sessions with them. Understand the concept in the most innovative manner. Oh, that's great, Flower. You've told me something new today. I'll also try this out. Hey, all about the world. What's your name? Super excited. Yes, absolutely, guys. Bilkul. Alright, so chemical reactions and equations. In this, we have for you divided the chapter in 4 different parts. We've got chemical change. We've got balancing chemical equations, types of reactions, and we've got corrosion and rancidity. So get an idea about the necessary topics. These are the necessary topics. These are the topics which are very relevant from the exam point of view. When you study a chapter, it's very important to just, bifurcate all the important points, all the subtopics that we've done for you at the very beginning. Now, the next important step is, now that we know that chemical change है या chemical reaction है, उसके बारे में पता होना चाहिए. So everything related to that we'll study. Then everything related to balancing, types of reactions, corrosion, rancidity, everything would be covered. And yes, rancidity is a term out there. A lot of you are thinking, क्यों rancidity ma'am करा रहे हो तो syllabus में नहीं है. A lot of you keep writing rancidity is out of syllabus, corrosion is out of syllabus. Guys, please stay with us till the end to understand why we would be covering these 2 topics. And I really don't want any one of you to miss even a single mark, because I know your aim is to get full marks. So yes, these topics we would be covering, and there's a reason behind this. We will be talking about that. So video is a bit blurred, Sashmita says. Is it for Sashmita only or is it for others as well? Quickly, bacha, let me know, and then let's kickstart. Let's get started with today's session. Hey Amulya, thank you. Yes, Kritika. It's a bit blurry. Is it for all of you? Quick thumbs up if the video is working fine, guys. Let me know. Good evening, Devika. Good evening, all of you. Alright. So we'll do one thing. We'll start with the session. You can hear me properly, right? And you can see the PPT properly. That's more important. A lot of you are saying video is blurred. Can we fix this? Yes. Alright. So we'll start with the very first topic, that is chemical change. What exactly is a chemical change? It's basically a change in which one or more new substances are being formed. Now the moment I say new substances are being formed, no new atom is being added for that. Only rearrangement of existing atoms take place. This is very important, and rearrangement of atoms is basically taking place when we talk about a chemical change, which is also known as a chemical reaction. So what basically changes is the chemical composition. This is very important, guys. The chemical composition is changing. The way the atoms are arranged, that is changing, but no new atom is being added, or no existing atom gets, subtracted or released. Released within the equation, within the reaction, yes. But ऐसा नहीं कि गायब हो जाएगा, disappear हो जाएगा. Yes. So there would be a change in the composition. New substances would be formed. That's how we get to know that a chemical change has taken place. And there are certain characteristics for that. The moment they say a chemical change is there, or the moment they say a chemical reaction is there, you need to know that they are the same, right? But how do we get to know that a chemical reaction or a chemical change has taken place? We've got 4 characteristics, and the first one is evolution of gas. So when we see a gas being evolved, we would know that chemical reaction या chemical change हो रहा है. For example, we have zinc reacting with sulfuric acid. You will tell me which gas is being released. चलो फटाफट से. हे बसवराज, बहुत डिटेल में करेंगे. We'll study in great details. Don't worry. You will understand everything. Hydrogen. Virendra is the first one. Virendra ने फटाफट reply कर दिया that ma'am hydrogen gas would be released. You are right. So we'll get zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas, and I'm putting an upward arrow. So remember, upward arrow actually indicates the evolution of a gas. So in case in the exam they give you some equation wherein they put this upward arrow and ask you to identify if there is any gas release, you would know that, right? Correct. So this upward arrow, you know, that is for evolution of gas. In this case, that's hydrogen. Fatafat say comment section mein tell me how can we check the presence of hydrogen gas? What is the test for that? You've done that earlier. They might, you know, in a way ask you based on your previous knowledge as well, how to test the presence of hydrogen gas. Quickly. Yes, Chanchi is the first one. Nikita, Garama, Soon Gaming, Shriya, Vijesh, Tarushi, Sashmita, Aditya. Badhiya, bahut badhiya. Yes, the pop sound test. You just bring a burning matchstick or a burning candle and it is going to burn with the pop sound. It will extinguish with the pop sound. Alright, the next one is change in color. Say, we all have seen iron nails, right? And we know that, you know, after some years you would notice, after some time also, in case the moisture is a lot, in that case it will speed up. Rusting of iron would take place and there would be a change in color. That is another indication that a chemical change has taken place. हाँ, सारा ध्यान पिज्जा पे चले गया. I knew. I always feel that in the class I have a lot of foodies out there. We would have given you any example. I have written an example over here of, zinc reacting with sulfuric acid, but all you could see is the pizza out there. Okay, yes. Iron. Rusting of iron, you would see a change in color. Next, change in state. Now, again, you can see from the image, one example is definitely out there, but this another one, there's an activity in your book, so you need to know about that. There's an activity of burning of magnesium. Guys, we are not going to leave any activity from the exam point of view. All the activities that are given, they are super important. Keep this in mind. There are a lot of questions, application-based questions would be asked from that. So don't leave any activity. So there's one activity of magnesium combining with oxygen. Burning of magnesium, right, to give you magnesium oxide. Now magnesium, it's in the solid state. Oxygen, we all know that's a gas, right? And magnesium oxide, again a solid. So definitely change of state is taking place. Yes, Rajiv, हिंदी में भी बिल्कुल बताते हैं. जितनी भी activities आपकी book में given हैं, वो सारी बहुत important हैं. They are very, very important from the exam point of view. Yes, there would be all explanations. Don't worry. Heat transfer. Heat transfer means we are transferring heat. Maybe we are gaining it. Maybe we are absorbing it. Or we are releasing it. Maybe it's, exiting. In any case, there's going to be a heat transfer. So some reactions are exothermic, some reactions are endothermic. We'll come to this topic really soon. Don't worry about that. Sab cover karenge. Yes, Yash. अच्छा. Orange juice किसको लग रहा है ये? I think you people on purpose take out something quirky out of it. Yes, बिल्कुल सारी tricks हम share करेंगे. Reactivity series would be coming up. I'll tell you a very easy trick to remember. Don't worry about that. All right. Now, in general, when we talk about a chemical change, it is involving a change in composition. Why is that happening? Because new substances are being formed. But now a very important point. It's usually irreversible in nature. Generally, in most of the cases, we cannot reverse back a chemical change, but that is not always true. So if they ask you that, maybe they could give you a 1 marker based on this, because, in chemistry, we very conveniently use the term usually, generally, mostly. You must have seen a lot of, I would say, comedy videos based on this as well. So, they might ask you that in which case, we can say that chemical change is reversible. So you know the answer. Charging, discharging of batteries, that is a chemical change, but of course that is going to be reversible. Another example, formation of ammonia. So ammonia is formed from nitrogen and hydrogen. They combine and they give you ammonia. But from ammonia you can get back nitrogen and hydrogen. Again, this is a chemical change, but this is reversible. Yes. Class 9 बच्चा बहुत जल्द आएगा. Don't worry about this, Purnima. Class 9 would be there. We will be taking the classes pretty soon. Yes, Harry, I just gave the example of a reversible chemical change. So, charging, discharging of batteries or formation of ammonia, both these are chemical changes, but they are reversible. So, if this 1 marker comes, this 1 mark is in your pocket now. Okay, but yes, remember, in most of the cases, it's very safe to say that chemical changes or chemical reactions are irreversible in nature. Yes. So we know about chemical change, we know about the characteristics, we know that usually they are irreversible, but exceptions are always there. Now coming to balancing, and for that you need to recall what exactly is law of conservation of mass. And let me see how many of you can actually recall this, and let me know in the comments section. Fatafat se. Formation of precipitate, yes, definitely we'll come to that. Bilkul discuss karenge what is a precipitate, how it is being formed. Hydronium ions, Nemichan, we'll come to this. No, Bharat, there are many more. Yes, Garma says, absolutely right. Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. So that means the mass of the reactants, they are going to be equal to mass of products. So suppose we've got A and B and they are reacting with each other to give us C plus D. Now based on this law, it is very safe to say that the mass of A plus mass of B would be equal to mass of C plus mass of D. Now we balance equations to satisfy this law. Another very important 1 marker, guys. I'll keep telling you as and when 1 marker, 2 marker, 3 marker questions are there. In some set or the other, they might ask you this question. Why are we balancing equations? क्यों करना है? इतना tough topic balancing का करना ही क्यों है? By the way, it's not tough. But for some of you, you find it very difficult. Now, why are we balancing? We are balancing to satisfy the law of conservation of mass. Yes, hit and trial method. Meshaki, you'll have to go back to the videos and watch it. And there's a shortcut to balance also. And the video is there on the channel. Shortcut to balance is an ABCD rule. Quickly go watch it right after the session. And then you won't fear balancing for sure. Alright. Now, this brings us to a very important topic. What exactly is a balanced chemical equation? What is it? We're talking about balancing. We are saying to satisfy the law of conservation of mass, we need to balance. But what exactly a balanced equation means? It means that it's going to have equal number of atoms of every element on the reactant and the product side. So on both the sides, we'll have equal number of atoms of every element. So we have a balanced equation with equal number of atoms of every element. The other one is a skeletal equation. So in case they ask you in the question, in one of the questions, give an example of a skeletal equation. Skeletal means an equation that is not balanced. Remember this, guys. Yeah, correct, Vishal. Alright, so look at this equation. You can see magnesium combining with oxygen to give you magnesium oxide. So the example that I had written earlier, just 2 minutes back or 5 minutes back, that was a skeletal equation because I did not balance it. But here you can see this is a balanced equation as we've got 2 magnesium on both the sides and 2 oxygen atoms on both the sides. Hey Sashmita, it won't be Cl, it will be Cl2. Yes, Rosanna. Now you need to balance this equation. Yes, Harry, we have a trick for balancing, bacha. It is there on the channel. You have to just go quickly write shortcut to balance. Add BYJU'S to it and you will get the video. Yes, we'll have for acid, bases and salts as well. Don't worry. Alright, now let's have a look here. Hydrogen plus chlorine giving us HCl. We've got 2 atoms of hydrogen on the reactant side and 1 on the product side. Similarly for chlorine, 2 on the reactant, 1 on the product side. Now what do you think? Is this following law of conservation of mass? Now, this is how the application-based questions would be asked. They might give you a table and they might ask you, is this following the law of conservation of mass? Now, for that, you need to know what is the law. Chalo, fatafat se batao, is this following? No, right? Because had this equation been following the law of conservation of mass, then the mass of reactants had to be equal to mass of product. So, in a way, we can say the number of atoms need to be same. So, correct all of you. The answer is a big no. And this means that now we need to balance this equation. For that, the first step is to count the number of atoms of every element. So we've done that. We've counted the number of atoms of all the elements on the reactant and product side. And then the next step is to balance the ones which are unbalanced. बढ़िया simple सा है यार. तो क्या करेंगे? Here you can see that hydrogen and chlorine, they are not balanced. So if we multiply with 2 over here, in a way, if we write 2 over here, now this is completely balanced. So H2 plus Cl2 giving you 2HCl. Now something very important. They might ask you over here that in this equation that you see, in this balanced equation that you see, what is the information that is being conveyed and what is the information that is not being conveyed? Pay attention, guys, all of you, everyone. I want all of you to be very attentive right now. They might ask you what is being conveyed through this balanced equation. So, of course, you know about the reactants and products. That's the first thing that you know. Then you know about their symbols. You know about their formulae. Right? You know how many atoms are involved. Correct. You know about the masses of reactants and products. But what you don't know, what is not being conveyed is the rate of reaction. You would not know at which speed the reaction is taking place. Hey Bharat, states, they're usually mentioned, right? What is not mentioned, no, you cannot say states because they'll give you a balanced equation with the states being mentioned. Yes. It's not about what is being mentioned, it is about what is not being conveyed. Understand the difference. When we give you a balanced equation, when we give you all the states and the necessary conditions about catalyst, pressure and everything, still at that point of time, it's difficult to actually quantitatively tell the rate of reaction, the speed at which the reaction would go. Yes, Rajiv, I'll repeat this in Hindi. So, एक balanced chemical equation से हमें क्या क्या पता चलता है? क्या reactants है, क्या products हैं, क्या symbols हैं, क्या formulae हैं, कितने atoms involved हैं, mass क्या है reactant and product का, but क्या पता नहीं चलता कि किस speed पे वो reaction होगा. No, Virendra, it's not mandatory. Only if they ask you, you have to put the states. Alright, so you know about balancing. That is very important. Practice a lot of balancing questions. In fact, we are only going to come up with a lot of balancing questions for all of you. Next is types. And guys, a lot of questions can be asked from this. We have combination, decomposition, displacement, double displacement, redox. A lot of them. And we are going to start with the first one, that is combination reaction. Now the name is self-explanatory. We all know what a combination reaction is. We have a reaction in which a single product is being formed from multiple reactants. All the reactants are combining to give you one product. Quickly in the comment section, you can let me know the example. Hey Simone, I'm doing really well, thank you. Hey Rosanna, yes, definitely that's the general way of telling. Any one example? Yes, Kirti. Bacha, all of you are mentioning the general type. Fatafat se tell me. Alright, yes, magnesium combining with oxygen, giving you magnesium oxide, correct. Now, you know, generally combination reactions are exothermic in nature. So, before we start discussing about combination reaction, let's quickly check what is exothermic reaction. Now, what are exothermic reactions? Exo means exit. So heat in a way is exiting, it's being released, and such reactions are known as exothermic reaction. For example, respiration, we can check this, we can cross check this right away, right? You can just, yeah, absolutely. Reaction in which, yes, Yash, liberate kar raha hai heat, correct. Evolution of heat, yes, Ashmita, yes, Zubair. those are exothermic reactions. So here you can see glucose combining with oxygen to give you CO2 and H2, and a lot of energy is also being released. So such reactions are known as exothermic reactions. Yes, Sarushi, you can leave your doubt in the comment section. Don't worry about that. Now let's come back to the examples of combination reaction. Okay, the respiration reaction, that's not a combination reaction. We were just discussing about the exothermic reaction there. Now talking about the combination. We've got calcium oxide. Calcium oxide, guys, is also known as quicklime. Very important. Sometimes in the exam, they might not say calcium oxide, they might say quicklime. Similarly, calcium hydroxide is known as slaked lime. So quicklime and slaked lime. So calcium oxide combining with water to give you slaked lime. Another very important example, carbon combining with oxygen to give you carbon dioxide. So these are the two examples, and you have many more. I can see a lot of you writing about hydrogen combining with oxygen to give you water. Yes, magnesium plus oxygen, magnesium oxide, hydrogen plus chlorine, HCl. Yes, correct. Hey Veronica, the most important part, you have to go back to the video, go back in the video and watch the 4 subsets that we have. Yes, so if they ask you why respiration is exothermic, energy is being released, right? Super easy examples, बहुत जल्दी से याद हो जाएगा. Quicklime, CaO, slaked lime, calcium hydroxide. Equations can be balanced or unbalanced. If they are unbalanced, they are termed as skeletal equations. Yes, all of you. All right, coming to the next very important type, decomposition. Yes, Flower, I just answered. विशाल redox पे पक्का आएंगे बच्चा, order में चलेंगे, धीरे धीरे सब cover होगा, don't worry. Decomposition reaction. Now, just the opposite of combination. If you've understood what combination is, just reverse it, yaar. That is decomposition. So we have a single reactant here and it's breaking into simpler products. That is what is decomposition reaction. And this is a simple representation of the same. So AB is the original substance that we have breaking into A and B. Now generally, decomposition reactions are endothermic in nature. Now that you've understood what is exothermic, I'm sure you know what endothermic means. That energy is being absorbed. It is basically needed for the reaction to take place. And this is common sense also, right? Decompose करना है, कुछ तोड़ना है, उसके लिए energy तो चाहिए ना हमें. We need energy for that if we want to break something. If I say I want to break this pen, I don't want to do it. Just for example, I would need energy for that, right? Yes, correct. And this energy can be present in various forms. It could be in the form of heat, it could be in the form of light, or it could be in the form of electricity. So if heat is there, we call it thermal decomposition. If light is involved, photolytic decomposition. Electricity is involved, electrolytic decomposition. Very important terms. Keep learning them side by side. And if they ask you, this is a 3 marker that has come repeatedly in the exam, guys. Pay attention. I'll put a star mark over here. They'll ask you to give examples of each type of decomposition reaction. For thermal, you can give example of copper carbonate in the presence of heat breaking into copper oxide plus carbon dioxide. You can also give the example of ferrous sulfate. That also decomposes to form ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide. Or you can give the example of calcium carbonate also. You can also give the example of lead nitrate. Now all these are given in your book. That is why it is very, very important, guys, that you know the equations for all these 3. Yes, Zubair. Photosynthesis would be endothermic. Yes, Rosanna. ये तीनों का decomposition reaction आपको पता होना चाहिए. तीनों thermal है. All what is being written on the board. All these 3 are thermal decomposition reactions. Next, we've got photolytic. So we've got silver chloride in the presence of sunlight. It's decomposing to form silver plus chlorine. And there you go. A 1 marker could be asked out of this. Why silver compounds are stored in dark? Why? Because otherwise photolysis would take place. And then in the presence of electricity, H2O breaking into H2 and O2. Very important, there is an activity based on this, guys, and a lot of questions could be asked based on that. Which gas is released where? What's the ratio of their volumes? So you should definitely go through this activity. Next, we have displacement reaction. Yes, good to know that. Pro हो गए इस chapter के. अरे Red Bull पे कहाँ चले गए? Redox पे रहो. Okay, displacement reaction. Reactions in which one element takes the place of another element. So you've got A plus CD. अब ये जो C है ये weak है, A बड़ा strong है. So A has in a way replaced and displaced C and made a bond with D. So AD is being formed and C is being, in a way less reactive, tha left behind. So there you go. A more reactive element actually takes the place of the less reactive element from its salt solution. So this is clearly telling you which is more reactive. And there you go, this is the series for the same. Now, easy way to remember, guys, I'll just add here. Over here, something I'm adding mercury here. So after copper, mercury would come. That's something that you should know. So I'm adding it in the list. Yes, there would be menti, guys, don't worry. All right, chalo, fatafat say easy way to remember. I want all of you to pay attention. We've got potassium, sodium, lithium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper. We've got mercury, silver, gold. The initial first letter. I'm telling you a way to remember. You can note this down. So, P for potassium, P for please. So, please stop loudly calling me a zebra in lunch. Hey, call me, that's mercury, call me something good. Okay, now this is the short way to remember, all of you. Over here, if platinum also you want, it'll come here. So you can make it like, call me something good, please. So please would be for platinum. Hydrogen is a non-metal, bacha. Yes, correct. So I have given you the short way to remember. Please stop loudly calling me a zebra in lunch. Hey, call me something good, please. Alright, based on this, they can definitely ask you a lot of questions. Let's discuss the type now. Now here we have, हाँ MCQ भी करवाएंगे, don't worry. हाँ बिल्कुल केदारनाथ वाला याद है, जैसे whichever way suits you. Crystal clear, good to know that. Okay, so here you have copper sulfate. Guys, note the color. This chapter has a lot of colors. Copper sulfate solution that you can see is blue in color. Copper sulfate crystals are also blue in color. And we've placed iron nail in this. Now, after some time, what's happening? The color of the solution is changing. It's forming ferrous sulfate. The color is changing from blue to green. And we can see copper deposits on the iron nail. Now, this reaction taking place clearly tells us that iron is more reactive than copper. And in the exam, they can give you a reaction and ask you, will the reaction take place or not based on the reactivity series? Yes, absolutely right. So here, iron reacting with copper sulfate, giving you copper plus ferrous sulfate. This has come in the exam a lot of times. They can actually ask you the colors also. So iron, you know, it's silver, right? Silver gray. Copper sulfate, blue. Copper is reddish brown. Ferrous sulfate is light green. Yes. Another example of displacement reaction, you've got zinc reacting with HCl to give you ZnCl2 plus H2 again. Zinc is more reactive than hydrogen. HCl से उसको निकाल दिया, खुद Cl के साथ एक product form कर लिया. Sodium is a metal, bacha. Now coming to double displacement. A lot of you wanted to ask, ma'am, what is precipitation reaction? So pay attention now because we are starting with a very important category, that is double displacement reaction. Now this basically means that first of all, how is it different from a displacement reaction? Displacement may we have one compound and we have one element. Here we have both compounds. Okay, this is the first difference. Secondly, what exactly is displacement? You all know. Now, what is double displacement? In double displacement, exchange of ions take place. Guys, exchange of ions is taking place and not atoms. So, suppose I say Na. that's an atom, but I say Na plus, that's an ion, right? So know the difference. In this definition, if you will write exchange of atoms, that won't be right. Exchange of ions basically is taking place, and these ions are, changing their position, swapping their position, and this is a double displacement reaction. Now, double displacement can be of two types. They can be either neutralization reaction or they can be precipitation reaction. Yes, spoon gaming coming to precipitation only. So when we talk about neutralization reaction, acid combining with the base to give you salt and water. Now, what is a precipitation reaction? In a precipitation reaction, something insoluble would be formed. Some residue would be formed that we call as precipitate. So in this reaction, we had colorless solutions of barium chloride and sodium sulfate. When they react with each other, a white precipitate of barium sulfate is being formed, and whenever a precipitate is being formed, we depict it by a downward arrow. Now, NaCl, it remains in the dissolved form. This equation is there in the book, guys. You need to know the color of barium sulfate, that is white. Please make a note of this as well. Now, coming to redox reaction. Now, you really want to know redox mein kya ho raha hai. But before we begin with redox, you need to know what is oxidation. Oxidation. The name is self-explanatory. Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. So, addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is going to be oxidation. And reduction, just the opposite of that. So, addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. That is going to be reduction. So, now you know what oxidation and reduction means. Hydrogen add ho raha hai, oxygen remove ho raha hai, to reduction reverses for oxidation. Simultaneously, if these two are taking place, we name it as redox reaction. So, oxidation reduction reactions taking place simultaneously is nothing but redox reaction. Yes, Muskan, neutralization. Grade 7 mein we studied about this. We have an acid. It's reacting with the base to give you salt and water. That is what is neutralization reaction. They are exothermic in nature. Yes, Shri Vijesh definitely will give you all important questions. Don't worry. हाँ, जब redox आएगा, you people will write Red Bull, I think. Okay. All right. Now, very important thing is that in the exam, they might give you an equation and ask you, identify the substance oxidize, substance reduce, oxidizing agent, reducing agent. This is like a pet question. This is like a favorite question which comes a lot of times in the exam. So, oxidizing agent, it's an agent that's oxidizing others, but itself it's getting reduced. Okay, so the substance that gets reduced is the oxidizing agent. Reducing agent is basically reducing others, and itself it's getting oxidized. So the substance that gets oxidized is the reducing agent. It's just the opposite. We have H2S combining with chlorine to give you HCl plus sulfur. Okay, now, whenever they ask you substance oxidize, substance reduce, oxidizing agent, reducing agent, forget about the products. Your answer would be either H from the reactant side. So, either H2S in this case or Cl2. This is the first trick, guys. Remember this one, okay? Answer hamesha reactant side se aayega. Now, let's see what's happening here. H2S is forming sulfur. That means it's losing hydrogen, which means it's getting oxidized. So H2S is the substance that is getting oxidized. Cl2 is gaining hydrogen to form HCl. So in a way, I would write here that Cl2 is the substance that is getting reduced. Everything sorted till here. Now I told you the substance that is oxidized would be the reducing agent, and the substance that's reduced is the oxidizing agent. So just figure out one thing, you will be able to answer everything else. Yes, it's a very good oxidizing agent, Rohan. Correct. Now do you see that everything is from the reactant side? Substance oxidized, substance reduced, oxidizing agent, reducing agent, सब कुछ reactant side से है. So reducing agent, we all know it's going to be H2S. Oxidizing agent would be Cl2. Yes, correct. Alright, moving on to corrosion. Now, why are we discussing corrosion and rancidity? But corrosion basically means gradual destruction of a metal when it comes in contact with, air, moisture, or any chemical for that matter. Right? So, when a metal is basically being attacked by substances around it, say moisture or acid, it's said to corrode. Now, in some of the cases, you will notice that oxidation is taking place, oxygen is involved. Oxidation is a type of reaction that you need to cover, right? So, you can't miss this topic because this is very much in your syllabus in that context. Now, here you see that before corrosion takes place, it's originally brown in color, and then after some time, the color has changed. Now, what exactly has happened over here? So, copper is actually reacting with oxygen, it's reacting with H2O and CO2, and basic copper carbonate is being formed. So there you go. This is actually corrosion of copper. Nahi bacha, rusting is in case of iron. It's a special name given to that. Okay, rusting ki baat kar lete hain. So next is rusting. So you can see that if we have an iron object over here, and you can see the reddish brown deposits out there. Again, in this case, when iron is left in damp air for a considerable amount of time, that means it's reacting with oxygen and moisture. Reddy brown flaky substance could be seen out there, which are basically known as rust, and this process is known as rusting. So you need to know about corrosion of copper, you need to know about rusting of iron, and you also need to know about tarnishing of silver. So silver articles, they can also get tarnished in the presence of hydrogen sulfide gas, and they can form Ag2S plus H2. So these three equations are important, guys. Yes, absolutely right. And now, why are we also discussing rancidity? Rancidity, that's the last topic of the chapter. Why are we discussing, बच्चा? Rancidity में क्या होता है? Aerial oxidation होता है. Oxygen is all around. Aerial oxidation is taking place. So yes, again oxidation is there, which is a type of reaction that you must know. That is why you need to cover rancidity. They might still ask you about this. So definitely don't think that it's out of syllabus. You need to know that. Quickly, let's discuss what rancidity means. We've got some food item, right? Day one, it seems very delicious, but then after some time, you will actually notice that it has undergone aerial oxidation, due to which its smell has changed, its appearance has changed, and of course, its taste has definitely changed. Now, this process is known as rancidity, and definitely it's going to be unfit for consumption. No matter how tasty it is, it's going to be unfit. So two things that are changing here. Smell is definitely changing and taste is definitely changing. Yes, Kalpesh. Kalpesh is giving solutions. So when fats and oils stay in open for long, they get oxidized, and we have to cover oxidation. I'm again reinforcing on the same thing. And they become rancid, due to which their smell and taste change, and this process is known as rancidity. So guys, this is again a very important topic that you need to know, and I have a homework question for all of you. So stay till the end, I'll tell you what the homework question is. But fatafat se, if you've understood all these concepts, hit the like button and give me a thumbs up over here. Chalo, fatafat se. हाँ, खाना खराब हो जाता है. Fats and oil, yes. Yes, Yashashwini. Fatapat say hit the like button, guys, if you are going to revise every topic that I've discussed today. The food would be rancid and the process is rancidity. हाँ, chips में होता है. Good, all of you. So yes, you need to cover these two topics. And yes, we've got you covered, guys. See, you might think corrosion, rancidity are out of syllabus. बच्चा वो cover करना है, and ये सब important information you will get only here. So in the comment section, I see a lot of you are wanting to know the ways. I want all of you to mention methods to prevent rancidity. Methods to prevent rancidity in the comment section, guys. Right after the live session, I'll see who all are actually, remembering all the ways to prevent rancidity. Yes. And please don't forget to register for ANTHE, guys. Come on. This is a great opportunity you all have, and you know the catch. Besides that, a lot of interesting things are there. Scholarships are there. Cash awards are there. Registration is And don't worry, we are in this race together. So the race to midterms, we are here at every step. So today maybe you learn something new, that rancidity corrosion karna hai. Now in every class something new would come up which definitely is going to benefit you from the exam point of view. So stay with us, hit the like, share and subscribe button, because that's how you'll get to know about everything, right? And yes, बच्चा mini learning program बिल्कुल free है अभी यार. So फटाफट से for first 1000 users every week it's free. Use the code YT first and quickly register yourself, and then you can actually experience superior learning. Yes, so guys, I want all of you to take out a calendar and chart out which subject needs how much time, bacha. Now, eventually boards would come up, but your exams are just round the corner. Keep noting down which subject needs how much time. Start planning, get informed about the syllabus, concepts, exam pattern, everything. This is the time where we need to perform now. Yes, and don't worry, we are here with you. Yes, every question that's given in NCERT chapter 1, you need to do that. You need to know those equations. Not all, but the ones which are given in the chapter. Chapter number 1. MCQs pakka लाएंगे बच्चा. Don't worry about this. Yes, definitely. Hey Ria, oxidizing agent is the substance that's oxidizing others and itself it's getting reduced. Bilkul, fatafat se. Yes guys, you have a session at 7 also. So I want you to quickly take a break, sip some water, come back for that session. Yes, alright. So keep working hard guys. Keep smiling and I'll see you in the next session. Take care. Bye-bye.